A world where truth costs more than silence. One voice dared to rise above the noise. Alex Carter. A name once whispered in every newsroom, once printed beneath the biggest exposes. Until one story changed everything. Alex Carter was an investigative journalist, brave, sharp, and unafraid to face the powerful. Her work had exposed corrupt corporations, crooked police officers, and political lies wrapped in gold-plated speeches. But when she uncovered Senator Howard Crane's secret deals, she crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Seen a dim newsroom, flickering lights. Papers scattered. A TV plays muted footage of the senator. Narrator. The evidence was undeniable. Offshore accounts, bribery trails, falsified welfare funds. Alex thought she had done her job. She sent the story to her editor, believing the truth would shine through. But instead of applause, came silence. Her editor refused to publish it. Her sources went missing. And the next morning, the headlines didn't carry her truth. They carried her name. Alex Carter fabricates evidence, investigation underway. Narrator pause. Her world shattered in a single headline. Within hours, her press pass was revoked. Within days, her credibility destroyed. And within weeks, she was blacklisted from every major network. Scene, apartment, night. Alex stares at her laptop. Emails, pile-in rejections, threats, and pity. Alex quietly to herself. I told the truth. That's all I did. Why does it feel like a crime? Narrator, her career was over. Her bank account empty. Her phone silent. But what hurt most wasn't the betrayal of her industry. It was the betrayal of someone she called a friend. Enter Ryan Blake, a fellow journalist she once mentored. Someone who had promised to help her publish the story when her editor refused. Instead, Ryan had taken her files, rewritten her report, and handed it to the senator's team for a settlement. He sold her story. And her silence. Narrator, Ryan vanished after that. No messages, no goodbye. Only an empty desk and a name erased from her contacts. Alex spiraled. For 2 years, she disappeared from the public eye. Moving from city to city, working odd freelance jobs. Still haunted by headlines that called her a liar. Then one night, a message appeared in her inbox. No name, no greeting. Only 3 words. You were right. Her heart stopped. Attached was a file, encrypted, unnamed, dated 2 years ago. It was a lead. A clue that the truth she once exposed was still alive. And dangerous. Scene. Alex's small apartment, rain tapping against the window. Alex murmuring, if the truth's still out there, I'll find it again. Narrator, she didn't know who sent the message. Maybe an ally, maybe a trap. But one thing was certain, her fire was back. Alex Carter wasn't done fighting. She reopened her old files, cross-referencing names, places, and missing leads. Each click drew her closer to a secret that had ruined her life. And this time she wouldn't trust anyone. Not editors, not officials, not even old friends. But fate had other plans. Because one of those old friends was about to walk back into her life. Scene transition, a quiet cafe downtown. A man in a dark coat sits across from her. It's Ryan Blake, older, richer, and colder than she remembers. Ryan smiling faintly. You still chasing ghosts, Alex? Alex calmly, only the ones that haunt me. Ryan, you should have let it go. People like us, we don't win against them. Alex, maybe, but we can make them afraid. Narrator, his smirk faded. For a moment, guilt flickered behind his eyes. Or maybe fear. Ryan leaned in, whispering, if you're smart, you'll stop digging. They're watching again. Then he left. No explanations. No goodbyes. But his warning came too late, because Alex was already being followed. Scene fades out, dark street. Footsteps echoing, camera pans up to city lights. Narrator's somber tone, once blacklisted for speaking the truth. Alex Carter was walking into another storm. But this time, she wasn't chasing a story. She was chasing justice. When Alex Carter opened that encrypted file, she didn't know it would pull her back into a world she swore to leave behind. A world of lies, surveillance, and broken promises. 2 years had passed since she was blacklisted, but the name Senator Howard Crane still pulsed like an open wound. Now she had proof again, digital fingerprints linking the senator to offshore transfers, fake charity funds, and a private security network used to silence whistleblowers. And there, buried deep in one of the documents, was Ryan Blake's name. Seen Alex's small apartment, midnight. The glow of her laptop lights her tired face. Alex whispering, "Ryan, what did you get yourself into?" Narrator. She spent nights tracing every email, every account, every name. The pattern was too clean to be coincidence, as if someone wanted her to find it. Then came the sound, faint knock on the door. 3 slow taps. Alex froze. Her hand reached for her phone. Before she could dial, a folded note slid under the door. It read, "Stop looking. They know." Scene? Morning News Cafe. Local paper headlines about corruption and arrests. Narrator. The next day, the headline spoke of a small-time journalist arrested for data theft. The name Michael Lang. A name Alex remembered. He'd been one of her sources during the Crane investigation. Now he was in custody, accused of fabricating files, the same files she once had. Her stomach twisted. Someone was cleaning up the trail, erasing every link between her and the senator's crimes. Alex grabbed her coat and headed out. She needed help, but there was only one person who might still listen. Seen a rundown newspaper office? Walls covered in old clippings. Enter Lydia Grant, former senior editor. Lydia. Alex Carter. "I thought you were in hiding. Alex. Trying to be. But hiding doesn't bring justice. I found something again. About Crane? And Ryan Blake's involved. Lydia sighing. Ryan. He's working with the Independent Bureau now, funded by the same people you exposed. Alex, I know. That's why I need access to his files. I think he's laundering stories, burying real ones, feeding the media fake trails to protect Crane's allies. Lydia quietly. You're walking into fire again. Alex. Alex. Maybe. But last time I walked away, innocent people suffered. Narrator. Lydia hesitated, then handed her an old ID card. "This will get you into the Bureau archives," she said, that night. Alex broke into the Independent Bureau office, her old world, rows of computers, stacks of restricted drives, and security cameras blinking red. She logged in with Lydia's credentials. Her hands trembled as she searched for Ryan Blake. Scene, office computer screen. Folders appeared, senator files, client access, field communications. One video file stood out. Crane_CONF_session.mp4.alex. Clicked. The screen filled with grainy footage, the senators shaking hands with a corporate executive, discussing media control and information management. And behind them, half hidden in shadow, stood Ryan Blake, her eyes widened. Alex muttering. He wasn't just covering for them. He was part of it. Narrator. She copied the files to her drive, heart racing. But as she pulled the USB out, alarms screamed. The lights flashed red. Security swarmed. She ran through the corridors, her boots echoing on the marble floor. At the exit, a familiar voice stopped her cold. Ryan calling out, "Stop, Alex. Don't make this worse for yourself." Alex turning. Furious. "You already did that for me," Ryan grimly. "You think you're saving the truth, but you're just another name on their list, Alex. Then I'll take them down before they cross it off." She bolted through the fire exit, disappearing into the night. Narrator somber. By morning, the story broke. Former journalist Alex Carter arrest warrant issued for data breach. It's the same justice system she once trusted now hunted her like a criminal. But she wasn't running to escape. She was running to expose, because hidden inside that flash drive was more than corruption. It was a key to something bigger, something that could destroy everything the senator built. And she wasn't alone anymore. Seen a dark parking lot, a car engine, idols. Lydia waits inside. "Lydia, you've got them shaking, don't you?" Alex smiling weakly. "Let's hope it's enough to make them fall." Narrator. The two women drove off under the fading city lights, one determined to clear her name, the other ready to burn down the system that betrayed her. But neither knew that the enemy had already planted someone closer than they could imagine. A friend. Turned spy. Narrator softly. For Alex Carter, the truth wasn't just a story anymore. It was a war, and she was running out of time. The city never truly slept. It only watched. Cameras on every streetlight, eyes in every corner, and whispers carried on the wind. For Alex Carter, every breath was borrowed time. The files she'd stolen from the Bureau were enough to expose. Senator Crane, once and for all, proof of corporate money, manipulation of the press, and the silencing of truth-tellers. But one name inside those documents haunted her more than Crane's. Ryan Blake. The friend she once trusted. The man who had sold her silence for his success. And now, a willing hand in Crane's empire. Scene: abandoned motel room. Night. Rain outside, neon lights flickering. Alex and Lydia sit at a table. The flash drive plugged into a small laptop. The room hums with static and tension. Lydia, you sure about this, Alex? Once we send this out, they'll come after us harder than before. Alex, tired but resolute. They already are. It's the only difference now. Said I'm ready for them. Narrator. But before they could act, before the files could go public, the walls closed in. A knock, then another. Then the door crashed open. Police stormed the room. Alex barely had time to reach for the laptop before they dragged her to the floor. Officer shouting, Alex Carter, you're under arrest for espionage and digital theft. Lydia screamed as they handcuffed Alex. The flash drive ripped from her laptop. Narrator somber. In one night, the hunter became the hunted again. And justice slipped through her fingers like smoke in the dark. Scene: interrogation room, cold, gray, echoing walls. Alex sat alone. No clock, no window, just silence. Then the door opened. And there he was. Ryan Blake. Ryan Comley. You never learn, do you, Alex? Alex bitterly. And you never stop betraying people, do you? Ryan, I didn't have a choice. Alex, you always had a choice. You just chose power over truth. Ryan, leaning closer. You think you're the hero of this story, but you're not. You're a loose end. And I'm here to tie it up. Narrator. His words were poison.com. Confident, controlled. But Alex noticed something else. Fear in his eyes. He was trembling. Not much, but enough. Alex, quietly. They're turning on you too, aren't they? Ryan froze. Ryan, what? Alex. You think Crane keeps loyal dogs? No. He uses them, then buries them. You're just next in line. Narrator. He didn't answer. Instead, he left the room, slamming the door behind him. But Alex had seen it, a flicker of doubt, a crack in his armor, and she knew exactly how to use it. Scene: police transport truck, midnight. Alex sat in the back seat, wrists bound, the city lights passing through steel bars. Then suddenly brakes screeched. The truck stopped. Two masked men opened the doors. Masked man, come on. We don't have much time. Alex, confused. Who are you? Masked man. Lydia sent us. Narrator. They freed her, guided her through the dark alleys and into a waiting car. When she climbed in, Lydia sat in the driver's seat, tears in her eyes. Lydia, I thought I lost you. Alex, smiling faintly. You almost did, but not yet. Narrator. They drove all night. Alex didn't speak much, just stared at the flash. Drive the same one she'd managed to switch before the police raid. The one that held every secret. But as dawn broke over the horizon, Lydia's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Ryan Blake found dead in his apartment. Lydia, shocked. Alex. He's gone. Alex whispering. They silenced him. Narrator, her heart twisted. Not in relief, not in vengeance, but sorrow. Despite everything, Ryan had been human. Broken, desperate, and trapped in a system that crushed everyone in its path. But his death meant something else. The walls were closing tighter. Senator Crane was cleaning house, and Alex was next on the list. Lydia, we can't fight this anymore. It's too big. Alex firmly. No, Lydia, it's not too big. They just want us to think it is. Narrator, she opened the laptop and connected. to a hidden server, the same one she'd used years ago as a journalist. If she could release the files to the world publicly, without filters or censorship, she could still win. But as the upload began, a notification blinked. Tracking detected. Tasto, location compromised. Alex muttering, "They're coming." Lydia, "Then we go out fighting." Narrator intense. The sound of approaching sirens filled the air. Alex hit upload all. The progress bar crawled to 20%, 40%, 70%. She whispered a silent prayer. And when the door burst open, the upload hit 100%. A global ping. Dozens of media outlets. Hundreds of journalists. Millions of eyes. The truth was free. Narrator slowly, emotionally. In that moment, Alex Carter didn't feel fear. She felt peace, because no matter what they did next, they couldn't bury the truth anymore. Police surrounded the safe house. Lydia held her hand, and Alex smiled. Tired, brave, unbroken. Alex quietly. Justice doesn't need permission. Scene fades to black. Sound of helicopters fades out. Narrator soft. The story wasn't over. But the world had finally heard her voice again. The dawn after the storm was strangely quiet. It's a kind of silence that only comes after a world has shifted. Across the country, headlines exploded. Senator Crane linked to corporate bribery. Government leaks expose media corruption. The truth rises again. Alex Carter's files had gone public. Every secret she risked her life to uncover was out. Every lie she had been punished for had finally been proven true. But while the world debated and protested, Alex was still behind bars. Scene a gray windowless cell. Alex sits on her bunk, bruised, exhausted, but with a faint smile. Narrator, they took her freedom, but they couldn't take her victory. Her arrest was supposed to silence her, to make the world believe she was a criminal. Instead, it made her a symbol. Thousands marched in the streets, holding signs that read, "Free Alex Carter." Truth is not a crime. Journalists who once avoided her name began speaking it again with respect. And Senator Howard Crane, he was nowhere to be found. Seen news broadcasts playing faintly through the radio in her cell? Anchor voice. Senator Howard Crane has resigned amid multiple investigations into fraud and misuse of government funds. Sources say an international warrant has been issued for his arrest. Narrator, Alex closed her eyes. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to breathe. Justice had moved slowly, painfully slowly, but it had arrived. Still, the victory was bittersweet. Ryan was gone. Lydia was in hiding, and Alex sat in a prison built by the very system she exposed. But she had no regrets. Seen courtroom several weeks later. Narrator's steady tone. Her trial was broadcast live. Every camera pointed toward her, every journalist scribbling, every citizen watching. The prosecutor painted her as a hacker, a traitor, a rogue. But her defense attorney, a young woman named Mara, stood firm. Mara passionate. Alex Carter did not commit a crime. She committed an act of courage. She exposed corruption when everyone else chose silence. And if telling the truth is treason, then maybe the truth itself needs a new definition. Narrator, the courtroom fell silent. Even the judge looked shaken. Evidence was presented. The leaks, the files, the proof of falsified records against her name. Piece by piece, the false accusations unraveled. Scene, judge's verdict. Judge. Gravely, in light of new evidence, this court finds Alex Carter not guilty of all charges. You are free to go. Narrator softly. She didn't cry. She didn't cheer. She just stood there, calm, silent, radiant, like someone who had carried the weight of the world and finally set it down. As she stepped out of the courthouse, cameras flashed, microphones reached, voices called her name. But Alex didn't stop. She walked through the chaos, into the sunlight, where Lydia waited at the bottom of the steps. Lydia smiling through tears. You did it. Alex, you really did it. Alex quietly. No, we did. The truth did. Narrator, they hugged, the city roaring around them. Somewhere in another office, Another young journalist watched the broadcast, eyes shining with admiration. Alex Carter had become something bigger than a reporter. Okay? She was a symbol of resistance, a reminder that justice may bend, but it never truly breaks. Seen months later, Alex in a small recording studio. Narrator. She didn't return to the big networks. Instead, she started her own independent platform, The Carter Report, a voice for the unheard, the silenced, the brave. Her first broadcast opened not with anger, but with truth. Alex to camera. 2 years ago, I was blacklisted for telling a story they didn't want told. Today, I tell another one, mine. Because no matter who you are, no matter how small your voice feels, the truth doesn't need permission to exist. Narrator, soft music rising, her words echoed beyond the studio, shared, quoted, repeated by thousands who once feared to speak. And in those echoes was power. Scene fades, montage of protests, justice reforms, people reading news freely. Narrator, gentle, uplifting tone. Justice isn't always clean. It doesn't always come fast. Sometimes it costs everything. Your name, your peace, your freedom. But when it comes, reminds the world that truth doesn't die in darkness. It waits, it fights. It rises again and again, and so did she, Alex Carter, the journalist who wouldn't stay silent. Narrator. Final emotional close. The story of Alex Carter isn't just about revenge or redemption. It's about courage, the kind that doesn't fade when the cameras turn away, the kind that lives in every voice that dares to say, I believe in the truth.